boys and girls. Today we're going to do an art lesson that is based on reflection. Here is the sample that I already completed for you. And if you notice, I have the picture going the long way, and I also have it being seen from a distance. Now you can choose to have it going the long way, or you can choose to have it going up and down. So it just depends on what kind of a picture you're going to do, and if you want it closer up, you're certainly welcome to do it closer up than further back. All right, let's get started. The paper I used was the Crayola marker and watercolor paper, much bigger size than this. You're welcome to use copy paper if you want. The reason I like that paper is because it doesn't absorb the markers so much, and obviously comes in a little bit bigger size than what your copy paper does comes in. So if you would like larger paper, that is a great one to use for watercolor and markers. First thing you're going to want to do is decide if you want your picture to go the long way, like this one, or you can have it going the tall way. So when you decide, you're just going to fold your paper in half like this so that you know which is going to be the top and where the bottom is. If you're going to do it the long way, you would fold it this way. All right. Now I already drew out my picture. I decided for this one that I would do a close-up view of my scene compared to a far away look like this. So it just depends on what you would like to do. So you're going to need markers, and for starters, you are definitely going to need a blue for the sky. Now notice everything needs to be colored in all the way. You don't want to leave any white spots. I left it white here for the cloud, but it needs to be filled in as much as you possibly can. And you want to use a medium shade of blue. Now if I was doing this picture without the reflection, this is the blue I probably use for my background. But because we need to have the blue transfer to this side, I need to use a little bit darker blue. So a medium blue, like these here, is the shade you're going to want to use. If you choose something darker like this, it's going to end up looking like a nighttime scene. So please don't use the super dark blues. Now, since my background is going to be blue, the other items in my picture I'm going to want to have be different colors other than shades of blue, just so that everything shows up really well. So if I do my dragonfly, I don't want to use shades of blue. I actually looked up dragonflies to see what kind of colors, and I found one that was purple and pink. So I am definitely going to use purple and pink for my dragonfly. Now, for the bottom, you're going to want to put something in your water. In this case, I put a sailboat. And in this one, I did a frog. And I also did a little fish peeking out of the water here. So this part, whatever item it is that you put in the water, you're going to want to use crayons. Okay? Now when you color, it's very important to color really, really hard and to fill it in all the way, including white. So, for example, this area of the eye, I wanted to have white. So you will need to color it in white, even though you really can't see the crayon. And the reason is we want it to resist or not have the marker colors attached to the areas that are white. Otherwise, the color of his eye will have blue from the sky in it. For example, if you look here, do you see how it reflected the colors? So if I didn't color in his eye, I might get blue or some other color in the area that I wanted to keep white. All right, so color it in fully. In other words, you don't want any white to show, and you want to push really hard with those crayons so that the colors don't stick. when we do the reflection part. Now I'm not going to sit here and color the entire thing in front of you because that will just take too long. But I will finish coloring the head here for you. All right, now another thing that you can do, now this is optional. You don't have to do this part, but I have a fish coming out of the water, and typically when you have something coming out of the water, you get these rings that go around from the water moving around. So I'm going to put some white, and again, you can't see it, and you want to make it quite wide. I'm going to put a ring going around. I'm pushing really hard, and I know you can't really see that on the screen. All right, and I'm just going to do a little bit more here. All right, and then I'm going to put some little ripples in the water, just a teeny bit. So I'm just going to take some white and push real hard. I'm just doing some straight lines just to give the illusion that there might be some little movement in the water. Not a whole lot though, because whenever you have reflection in the water is pretty still. And maybe a little bit here. Now I'm not doing waves. They're just straight lines, just light little ripples. Okay, if it was wavy, again, we wouldn't be able to see the reflection in the water. So don't do the super wavy style on your paper. Okay, let's go to the next part. For my marker colors also, because I have so much foliage here, I picked out as many shades of green as I could find because it'll make for a very nice composition to have lots of different colors. Not everything's the same green, being that there is so many things that would be green. All right, so think about your color choices. I typically take mine and I lay out all the colors that I'm going to use ahead of time, just so that they're ready and easy to access. Now again, when you go to color in with your markers, just like with your crayons, you want to color it in all the way. Now, something I like to do with my markers is to outline my items first, because I find that it's easier to stay in the lines and color it in. See, because when you outline it, it's already filled in slightly. And that helps to have very nice edges. I also use a little bit of a rounded motion when I'm filling stuff in so that it doesn't look too streaky, because Crayola markers, being water-based, they can be very streaky looking. So I'm going over and over it using a slightly circular motion to fill it in. All right. There we go. See how nicely that's filled in? That is how your entire picture up here needs to be. Now you're not going to use any marker down here at all. You're only using marker up here. The items that are down below that you drew, these items will be crayon only. So I am finished coloring in my picture. A little upset my blue ran out, and funny how you get a new packet of markers and the blues aren't exactly the same. So I tried to go back over it, but that was the best that could be done. So, all right, now here's the fun part for the reflection. I'm gonna take some water, and you do need to make it quite wet. I'm gonna use a sponge brush here. You can use a bigger paintbrush, whatever you want. And I'm going to really wet it. You could use a spray bottle. You'll just have to be careful if you did a spray bottle that you don't spray it onto the upper section here. All right, I don't know if you can see that, if you can see the white crayon coming through here. Now, because I use crayon on my frog, I can just go right over it with the water. Now that looks like it's all nice and wet. You do need to work very quickly because you really need it wet for it to work. All right, now I'm going to take my paper and I am going to very carefully fold it right on that fold line, and I'm going to press it down and rub it. Now you can kind of tell where maybe it wasn't quite wet enough, and that's okay because I will show you how to fix that. All right, now see how much brighter it is through here, so you can kind of tell what areas didn't get enough moisture. So I'm going to reveal my reflection. Isn't that cool? And I'm just going to add just a little bit more water in some of those spots, and maybe right here along that edge, and you can just very carefully lay it back down, rub it. Okay, it's a little bit here. Oh, and the reason it's not so much here is because I've got the frog, I've got the crayon right there. So put just a little bit more here, rub it, and pull it apart. Okay, and there we have it. Such a nice reflection. And then those really wide crayon marks. Now remember, you have to push really hard with your white crayon, and you do need to make it kind of thick and wide in order to show. All right, if it's too skinny and you didn't push enough, like right here, I probably should have pushed a little bit more. You can still see it, but not as much as the really, really wide ones. And there you have it. We have our water reflection. I think it turned out so cute. I hope you guys have fun with this too.